All right, what's up, college football fans, quarterback fans, Mississippi State fans? Welcome to the QB Spotlight video. In this video, we're talking about new Mississippi State head coach Jeff Lebby and new quarterback, former Baylor quarterback Blake Shapen. We're going to look at Lebby's history and how he's developed, and how he got to the point that he is here now as Mississippi State's head coach. Then we're going to talk about Blake Shapen and one, why Lebby chose Blake Shapen, and two, what he brings to the table and kind of areas that that could be some positive takeaways for Mississippi State with Blake Shapen as their starting quarterback. But with that said, if this is your first time tuning in the QB Spotlight channel, sincerely we thank you for tuning in. We're just a big quarterback hub. We talk all things quarterback. We spend the majority of our time talking about quarterbacks in the SEC, quarterback storylines, competitions, just anything related to the quarterback position. So if you like that type of stuff, you're an SEC fan, you want to keep up with SEC quarterbacks from around the league, consider subscribing. Also, we have a podcast, which season 2 is about to be coming up in the next few weeks, where we have current and former quarterbacks come on the podcast, current and former coaches come on the podcast, and just talk about all their quarterback-related experiences and stories, and kind of some cool behind-the-scenes look. So if you're not an SEC quarterback fan, just a quarterback fan in general, subscribe to that. Get some cool stories and some cool quarterback content there. So with that said, let's dive into the video. Let's talk about Jeff Lebby. Let's talk about how he got to where he got to now. Maybe talk about his offensive philosophy a little bit and kind of what you can maybe expect at Mississippi State. So Lebby's history initially, right? He signed to play football at OU, was an offensive lineman, got hurt, became a student coach, and that's where he met current head coach, Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel. After coaching at OU, he had 7 different positions. He was coached at Baylor, coached at UCF, Ole Miss, OU, running backs coach, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator. Once he became the OC at UCF, that's kind of when his coaching career kind of took off, right? He coached Dylan Gabriel at UCF and Mackenzie Milton. Milton had that great year in 2018. Then Gabriel comes in 2019, had another great year. So coaching under Heupel, kind of that veer and shoot type offense, right? You spread the field out, receivers lining up outside the numbers, and you want to get the run game going. That's kind of the veer and shoot, right? Get sneaky, get the run game going. It's kind of the way to attack that. Then you just spread the ball out. A lot of quick passes, behind the line of scrimmage passes, a lot of screen type throws, just to keep the defense from coming in, right? After UCF, goes to Ole Miss, coaches under Kiffin, and then after Ole Miss goes to OU, and now back to Mississippi State, right? So anywhere he went, his offense was always one of the best. But I think now he's had exposure to working under Heupel, had exposure to working under Kiffin, and then kind of combine those two offenses. And they're similar offenses. Both offenses move fast. Both offenses really want to get the run game going and then build off of that and get the ball out quick. But he's able to learn from both offensive minds. Goes to OU, works from a more defensive-minded head coach, and is able to kind of, maybe put his own spin on the system, right? But I think the positive takeaways for Lebby is he's always had success. He's had multiple roles, and he's been exposed to some really, really next-level thinking, smart offensive minds in Heupel and Kiffin. So with that said, with the background about Lebby and knowing, hey, you want a quarterback that gets the ball out quick, that can move a little bit, but you really got to get the run game going. What makes them choose Blake Shapen? Well, I think number one, a positive is just experience. Regardless of your thoughts about Shapen, he has plenty of experience, right? 2 years and change as a starting quarterback at Baylor, 36 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and 5,574 yards passing, 7.4 yards per attempt, and a completion percentage of 63.7. Again, 2 years as a starting quarterback, and maybe 2 1/4, we'll call it, because he had some change his first year there at Baylor starting as well. So I think that those are positives, and I think he showed glimpses of being good. I think if you're a Baylor fan, you're really excited when he first came on and he showed those flashes. It's just he never really developed, never took that next step. So I think the question is, did he not take that next step because of his own play, or did he not take that next step because of the Baylor system, the offensive system at Baylor? Probably a combination of both. But I think an offensive play caller like Lebby, I think there's always room for more improvements. I think a play caller who has proven track record like Lebby does, I think you hold on to some hope that, hey, he can get the best out of Shapen. So that's what Shapen did the past few years. So the biggest reason you probably want Shapen is just from have a guy who has experience as a starting quarterback. So let's look at where he kind of played well at, and then some areas to improve on. I think actually number one, let's look at where to improve. Number one is the deep shot. Just push the ball downfield. You heard me say the stat: 7.4 yards per attempt in a little over 2 years as starting quarterback. That's not great. You need to push the ball downfield a bit more. Again, don't know if that's on him or if that's on the offense, but that needs to be more of a threat. The vertical passing game needs to be more of a threat, and especially in Lebby's game. You saw that with Dylan Gabriel. Like, you need to be able to push the ball downfield. You need to be able to hit some deep throws. You need to be able to be accurate on pushing the ball downfield. Yes, there are screens. You get the ball out quickly, but if you can't set up the deep shot, then the screens are kind of pointless, and the defense is going to keep the ball in front of you. So you need to push the ball downfield. He only had 28 completions, and the ball was thrown 20 yards or more downfield in a little over 2 years as starting quarterbacks. That's less than 14, 2.5 years. Yeah, I'm not good at math, but you get it. It's not a lot of throws downfield. Again, don't know if that's the system, that's him, probably a little bit of both. But in Lebby's system, to be successful, you got to push the ball downfield. So Lebby, of course, thinks he can get that out of Shapen. Also, yeah, so that's the biggest area of improvement in kind of watching Shapen play and then just kind of going off the numbers. But he was much better off of play action. A good play action quarterback. All 3 of his interceptions in 2023 were from play action, but more than half of his touchdowns were from play action as well. 32% of his dropbacks were from play action. He still had a lot of his passing touchdowns off play action. So even if the run game isn't successful, I think you got to get play action going to run this Lebby's offense, to run the system. Even if the run game isn't going very well, right? I think that play action game is something that is part of the offense. That's something that Shapen has had some success in. So I think that is a positive. And I think he's more accurate than the numbers suggest. Like Shapen is. His adjusted completion percentage is 71%. He had 20 drops this past season, so 10% of all his passes were dropped. So even though that completion percentage was a 63-ish range, I believe, I think that is a bit unfair to put on just Shapen. 63% isn't bad by any means, but I think he's a more accurate quarterback than given credit for due to all those drops. Biggest reason why I think biggest reason why I think Lebby is going after a quarterback like Shapen is I think he fits the same mold that he's coached in the past, that Lebby's coached in the past. Look at Dylan Gabriel. Look at Matt Corral and Mackenzie Milton. Matt Corral maybe a little bit different than the other 2 cats, but those guys, shorter quarterbacks in nature, about 6 footish range, 200, so right about Blake Shapen. Can move a little bit if you have to. Want to get the ball out quick. Can kind of throw from some off-platform type throws. They all kind of fit that same system, right? And Corral fits that too to an extent. He probably has a stronger arm, slightly taller, still playing in the NFL, has more of an NFL build, but I think he fits what Lebby wants stylistically. So I think if you're Lebby, you see a quarterback who has shown potential, you see a quarterback who in your mind, you're like, you know what, he probably wasn't put the best situation at Baylor. I think the situation I can create can be better for him overall. Let's go ahead and take him, put him in, and see what happens. So again, just my takeaways covering Mississippi State. We're talking about Mississippi State and how the marriage between Lebby and Shapen could shake out. Again, it's going to be it's an uphill battle for Mississippi State. You got, it's a hard division, a lot of good teams. But if Lebby and Shapen, if they're a perfect match, then who knows what happens, you definitely go and surprise some people. So if you're an SEC fan or a Mississippi State fan, just watch this channel, this video somehow. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Shapen, what you think of Lebby, how you think this combination is going to end up. Let us know in the comments below, and please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. All that stuff really does help. And again, be on the lookout for the podcast season 2 that we have coming up. We have all these quarterbacks and coaches on the show talking all things quarterback. So again, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll see you next time. Peace.